Hi Matt, how are you?
I am very well, thank you.
Great. Well, we are thrilled to have Back4Blood almost in our hands. So I guess
Very close.
you are thrilled too, right?
Yeah. It's been a long time coming. Good few years of development. Yeah. We're all getting ready. The main code is approved. Now we're getting all the infrastructure, the back end and network stuff into place and ready for launch. And then we wait and see.
Okay. How important was the beta that took place on August for you guys? 6 million people played that, no? So how important was that?
Really, really important. We do it for a number of reasons. Number one, the scale, like you said, 6 million people. We don't have a way of testing that until we do a scale of that size. And so for our network team, our infrastructure team, they gather a lot of useful data about how to get network services ready, servers ready for when we go to launch. So they're in a better place now because of that. We obviously do it to get data, feedback on the game itself, but we did have time to certainly look at balance changes, design tweaks, that kind of thing, where it's like, one thing that came up was the difficulties seemed a bit of a swing between easy and hard. People were saying easy is perhaps too easy, hard was perhaps too hard, and so do we balance down hard a bit? Because I think it became a barrier of entry for some players. They're like, well, I don't want to play this nightmare mode if it's so difficult. A lot of people were really wanted to play custom private games. They wanted to be able to play their zombie team against another cleaner team. We didn't have that at beta. We weren't planning on it for launch, but there was such a appetite for it around the beta that we have actually managed to put in a kind of custom private match mode for PvP, but ready for launch. So a little bit of a scramble to get it ready, but you kind of see the consumer feedback that they got. People really wanting that, and so we kind of we go back as a development team. We're like, well, what will it take? What's the risk involved? But what's the reward? And when we realised kind of what it would take and the risk, when we kind of worked out that probably not too bad. I mean, QA won't like us when we tell them we've got another mode to test, but the reward I think is great because it shows we're listening. People can play these private matches. So,
how fun were you of the Left 4 Dead game? You were fun. You played a lot before getting into Back4Blood.
Yeah, I played a bit. I was working in video games for a long time. So when Left 4 Dead was out, I was actually working back in England. But yeah, we played a little bit in the office back there. We kind of had like lunchtime games. It was a popular game to play over lunch. We played. We were fans.
Are you afraid of the fan? Because you said it recently. The Left 4 Dead has a lot of fans yet right now. So are you afraid of what they will think about Back4Blood, or you're confident about that game?
I think you have to be confident going into making any game, right? You've got to believe in the idea and what you're doing. And a lot of games are similar in the way they are, right? With a lot of first-person shooters are similar, but they all have their own take on something, their own thing that makes them popular. We obviously there's some of the studio founders worked on the original Left 4 Dead, so there's heritage there. There's obviously nostalgia. There's four human-controlled players taking out a boatload of zombies, right? We've seen that, but we kind of put our own flavor on it and kind of make Back4Blood its own IP, and that all came through development and iteration. But to get to where we are today, I think it's a game that's going to stand on its own.
Okay, how difficult is for you to develop a game that is for PC and also for consoles right from the beginning? It's difficult, and the crossplay around them is more difficult than other.
We are obviously on what I guess you call current gen, next gen, right? So PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC, and so we had to be very mindful because we wanted to do cross-gen, we wanted to do cross-play. Us as a developer, because it was super important to keep friends and player base together, right? You might have a PlayStation 4. I've got an Xbox Series X. How do we play together? A lot of games you just wouldn't, right? I'd have to buy that platform for us to play together.
And about Back4Blood, we spoke about the zombies, but how about the players? No, the characters that the player wants to choose. How do you pick the personality of each of them, and how was the beta? Who was the most playable character in that beta?
We have that data, and off the top of my head, I don't know it. That's a really good question. Okay. I don't know who's the most played. We could probably find out if you really want to know, but I don't know. But how do we go about designing them? We just kind of we want like, you know, good representation of different people in the game, different personalities, and then how they're going to act and be. And then kind of on top of that, what is their special thing that they bring to the game? So, like if you play Mum, for example, she has that quick revive, right? And so that's kind of her special thing. One of the other characters kind of sense hazards before they appear, so they can kind of know if there's like traps and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of how we go about it. We have a narrative designer, writer on staff, Simon McKenzie, and then Phil Robb, who's one of our co-founders. They work really closely on that kind of lore, the stuff, how the characters work, how they look, how they talk, how they interact with each other. And so we've got a lot of that in game. Like a lot of time, I play Hoffman one day, and then the next day I play Doc, and you play a different character. You'll hear different, you know, back and forth, different VO, different jokes, different lore, and it's just a different way of telling the story as well. There's like a story that goes through the campaign, and you'll pick up some of that just while you play, listening to VO or looking on the walls and seeing like graffiti or messages that were posted from just before it all started. And then we kind of tell the story in more traditional video game format. We obviously have cutscenes, you know, pre-rendered cinematics between levels as well. Are
you planning to put more characters in the future, in the near future?
But then I think we are planning content drops in the future, and kind of more. There is more detail on that about when you buy the Ultimate Edition, like what the kind of drops are. But we're kind of in the planning phase of all that at the moment, so I couldn't really give you a firm answer yet.
Back4Blood, I think it's part of your life. Now it's a lot of years making it, a lot of years to come, I think. So
we hope,
oh yeah, of course. So what is your biggest dream about Back4Blood from now on?
Oh, you'd love to keep things running, right? Keep building on top of the game, keep improving it, keep adding to it, reacting to community feedback, just keeping the game alive. Like you see a lot of games these days that have, you know, their first launch was a few years ago. I don't know, like Rocket League's a real good example, right? When did that first come out? 4 or 5 years ago, maybe now. 4 years? Still going strong. Excellent. You know, and they changed different ways of doing stuff, but they got, however that be, they've kept the game going, and I think that would be like a dream. Like if you keep a franchise going for X number of years, that means you've had a success. That means people are playing your game, and they're enjoying the game, and they're enjoying whatever support you might do after the game's launch. And I think as a developer, that's kind of like really where you're aiming to get to. Like now, particularly with these kind of games as service type products.
The last one, Matt. Your final message for all the zombie fans here in Argentina, here in Latin America. What do you want to talk to them?
I hope you can get the game. I hope you can get it, play it on whatever platform you're going to be on. I really hope you're going to enjoy it. We put a lot of time and effort into it. There's a lot of love that went into this game. We listened to you during the beta. We'll keep listening to you once we go live. Just get out there, have fun. What's our little catchphrase? Just come and slay, right? Come slay with us.
Great.
We'll be out there playing as well.
Great, Matt. Thanks a lot, and I can't wait to put my hands in that game. Thank you, Matt.
No worries. Yeah. Thank you.
Argentina Game Show, 7ª edición, 5, 6 y 7 de noviembre. Costa Salguero. Nos vemos en AGS 2021.